I got somebody really attacking me right now. I mean, really going after me, man. I'm just waiting to see what God gonna do.
Steve Harvey just messed with the wrong ones, because the moment he tried to check Katt Williams and Lil Boosie, they checked him right back. Live, raw, unfiltered, and in front of the whole world.
I felt like it was genuine. There are some people who have given, my dad his flowers now that he's dead, that I'm looking at like, doggone well, he wasn't doing it when he was alive. And that, not just famous people, just people all across.
What started as a few slick comments turned into a full-blown showdown. Comedy meets street, legend meets rebellion.
And you asked it, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. You called Ocean 11 to get that nigga's part. What do you mean you didn't want to be a movie star? So on the behalf of Bernie, I would have to say what I have to say. After Bernie left, them same three guys I'm telling you about, the Kings, they came to me. I was supposed to be the fourth king. I got the offer.
Then what happened?
But I turned it down.
Why?
Because you shit on Bernie. And I know the truth. You think I'm gonna let you shit on Bernie and then come get me? I'm the next king? Fuck you. Why? Because the whole time Bernie was here, you was acting like you was funnier than him. That man was funnier than all of y'all, and y'all thought y'all had one over on him. You thought he was black and ugly, and you were good looking, and he couldn't make it, cause you did. And that ain't the way comedy works. The king is the funniest. Period. Every time. And that's why no audience member was ever swayed. It didn't matter where Bernie went. You think if Bernie went first, he wasn't the king? Get out of it.
And trust me, this wasn't no TV-friendly Steve Harvey moment. This was real. Katt Williams and Boosie didn't just clap back. They exposed everything behind the fake smiles, the hidden egos, and the Hollywood hypocrisy. This is the story of how two real ones went toe-to-toe with one of the biggest names in entertainment and made him blink.
I didn't know nothing about this concept. When the promoter told me about it in October, I shot it down, because that ain't how I've ever promoted a show. I've always been on tour with some real monsters, man. I've toured with the Kings. I've been on stage with Sid, DL, and Bernie Mac at the same time. It's always been a camaraderie. Right. You know what I mean? We're going out here to give the people the best show we can give them. And that's the way we've always promoted comedy shows. Now, to turn this into some type of little beef, that ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't how I...
Let's get straight into it. It all started when Steve Harvey made what people are calling a threat, not in the streets, not with fists, but with words. On his show, on stage, and in a few interviews, he took shots. Subtle but sharp. He called out certain comedians and rappers who run their mouth too much, saying that if they ever came at him sideways, he'd handle it like a man.
Man, I ain't got nothing to say about the Katt Williams situation. I don't know about nothing about that. I know he a real nigga to me. Like I say, bro, I came home, I ain't had nothing to man. Invited me to his concert. Got me front row seat. When I was leaving, gave me $15,000. That's real. Everybody else was screaming my name, all kind of celebrity. They ain't even give me a speak. They didn't even speak to me when I came home. That man gave me $15,000. I ain't even know him, bro. That's all I could say. 9 minute celebrities was hollering free Boosie. I saw him, they ain't even acknowledge me. They gave me $15,000. Doing that. He did that from the heart, man. He knew what I had been through, bro. Man knew what I had been through, bro. I'll never forget that. When I see him, I'm definitely gonna bless him, bro. And I keep 15, 20 in my pocket at all times.
But everyone knew who he was talking about, Katt Williams and Boosie. Because for months, Katt had been going viral, calling out fake Hollywood types. He'd roasted Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, Steve Harvey, basically anyone he saw as a company man. And when Steve clapped back, the world knew war was brewing. Now, Katt Williams ain't the type to stay quiet. He's never been scared of no suit. No network, no big name. He said it himself. I ain't in Hollywood. I'm in the truth business. So when Steve made that slick comment about knocking out comedians who talk reckless, Katt took it personal. He went live and said, "Steve, you too old to be threatening folks."
Don't want no parts of this in any way, shape, form, or fashion. This is some other shit. I don't know why he came out here with all this money y'all spent on them motherfucking tickets and talked about a lady in the audience for 15 goddamn minutes. That nigga should have talked about me the way I've been to talk about his bitch man.
You supposed to be wise, not wild. Don't talk about knocking me out when you couldn't even stand up to your own barber. The internet went crazy, and just when fans thought it couldn't get any wilder, Boosie jumped in. Lil Boosie saw what was happening and said, "Nah, we not letting Steve slide on this one."
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of the hottest young comedians in the country today. I'm telling you, he got my stamp. This cat is hot. Please put your hands together for Katt Williams.
Boosie and Katt go way back. They've always respected each other because they share something rare. They both speak truth without a filter. They don't care who it offends, so when Boosie saw Steve flexing like he was some street boss, he went live too, and that's when it got real. Boosie said, "Steve Harvey don't scare nobody. He's a talk show host, man. He ain't cut like that. You threatening comedians and rappers cause you mad folks see through the act. You Hollywood now, bro. We real ones."
What I believe the genuine love and respect that Katt Williams showed my father, it is so much appreciated. Much love, and mad props, Katt Williams.
Steve told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he had 7 TV shows. The only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows. He stopped stand-up because he got in a comedy battle called the Championship of Stand-Up Comedy with one Katt Williams in Detroit in front of 10,000 people and lost because Katt Williams said he was actually bald and that was a wig. And I went in, and that's why he couldn't do stand-up anymore.
You can't threaten what's real. And just like that, it was Boosie and Katt versus Steve Harvey, live for the whole internet to see. Let's rewind for a second though, because this beef didn't start out of nowhere. There's history here. Katt Williams has been calling out Steve Harvey for years. He's accused Steve of selling out, of stealing jokes, of acting like a mentor while secretly blocking other comedians from shining. Back in 2018, Katt said in an interview, "Steve Harvey's the type who'll shake your hand and steal your punchline."
Sometimes the oppositions comes from the most unsuspecting places. Sometimes, man, you gonna get blindsided. But you gotta understand how the devil works, man. The devil is evil. He don't fight fair. This thing in life, that's not fair what they saying about me. That's not fair what they doing about me. And it wasn't fair how they did Jesus, but they did it anyway. You are not going to get away through this thing called life without opposition. But let me say this though. Be careful when you hear something that's laid out to be the truth, and because the person that's telling you what they say is true is speaking eloquently, don't be deceived by that. There are some people who know how to lie so well. They know how to sprinkle in just enough truth and wrap it inside their lies where they got you thinking that somebody telling the truth. Beware of that, people. You can't be righteous and negative at the same time.
And even though people laughed, he wasn't joking. Because the truth is, Katt's always seen himself as the real comedian, the one who speaks for the people. Steve, he's seen as corporate comedy, clean, safe, network approved. And that difference in energy, that's where the tension always was. Now, throw Boosie into that mix and you get gasoline on a fire. Boosie doesn't do Hollywood. He doesn't play politics. He's not afraid to say what others won't. And over the last few years, Steve Harvey's been preaching morals on TV, giving relationship advice, life lessons, and sermons like he's the new Dr. Phil for Black America. But Boosie wasn't buying it. He said, "Steve Harvey be talking about how to keep a woman like he ain't been divorced. Bro, stop acting like a pastor and just be real. Folks tired of fake wisdom." When Steve heard that, he took it as disrespect. And that's when he dropped the line that started everything. He said, If these little dudes keep my name in their mouth, I might have to teach them how grown men handle things.
Art is a Kings of Comedy idea. It was a Def Comedy Jam reunion idea that I had initially.
Okay.
And I called a friend, Stan Lathan, in LA, who was the director of all of Def Comedy Jam. He co-managed some of the talent. So I figured he could help me get Martin and bigger people like that at that time.
Right.
And we tried that for like a month or two, and he could never come up with anything. And that's when I was at my son's football practice one day on the phone, like I was always on the phone, sitting in the bleachers, and that name just kept nagging at me.
Right.
And I didn't know what to do with it.
Okay.
So I always could count on Bernie to do what he does. So I called him first, called his people first.
Gotcha.
He was like into it immediately because at that time, if you read his book, he was kind of at a crossroads with his career. He didn't know what was going to go on with his career. And I called Thr3at because I was doing all of Thr3at's dates up to that point.
Gotcha.
I was his promoter.
Okay.
And I called Steve because I saw him on a HBO special. I had never seen him do comedy.
Oh, wow.
Saw him on an HBO special with his yellow suit. And I was like, hey, he could be a good addition.
Right.
And so I called him last.
Okay.
But I had the other two, got him.
That's right, because D.L. Hughley was
one
not.
person.
Okay, got it.
A lot of people don't know that. So.
Right.
That Bernie said in the GQ article that when he got Ocean's 11, Steve had reached out to the producers and said he thought he would be a better fit and tried to get the part.
To the average listener, that sounds like a clapback. But to Boosie and Katt, it sounded like a threat, and that's when they went live. The live was pure chaos. Boosie was in his car smoking, talking raw. Katt was in another city calm but surgical. Boosie started it off. Steve, stop capping, man. You ain't no street dude. You a TV man. You ain't about to handle nothing but a camera. Talking about knocking folks out. You better knock out them weak jokes instead. Then Katt came in smooth, almost whispering. Brother Steve, you're too old to be fighting people who never disrespected you. I called you out because you fake. Not because I hate. There's a difference. He paused, looked straight into the camera and said, you can't knock me out, Steve. Not in comedy, not in life, not even in spirit. So stop swinging for headlines. The chat exploded. Comments flying, hearts flying, people picking sides. And while Steve never joined that live, clips of it spread everywhere. Fans started debating, is Steve Harvey really threatening people now? Why is Katt always calling people fake? Boosie just said what everybody was thinking. Even other comedians jumped in. Some defended Steve, saying he's an OG who's earned his respect. Others said Katt and Boosie were just saying what nobody else had the guts to. But here's where it gets deeper. This wasn't just about words, it was about control. Because Steve Harvey has power, connections, platforms, networks. Katt and Boosie, they've got people, the streets, the culture. So this was bigger than comedy. This was about who gets to speak for the people, the polished preacher or the unfiltered truth teller. And that's why this whole thing hit so hard. When Steve made that knock you out comment, it wasn't just trash talk. It was a symbol of the disconnect between old Hollywood and new authenticity. Steve represents the generation that believes in gatekeeping, in protecting the industry. Katt and Boosie represent rebellion, breaking the rules, saying the unsaid, exposing the fake. And when those worlds collide, it gets messy. Because Steve's image depends on being respected, Katt and Boosie's image depends on being real. So when the real call out the respected, somebody's image got a crack. And it started too. Clips of Steve looking tense on his radio show went viral. Fans were saying Steve looked nervous. Steve sounded guilty. Meanwhile, Boosie and Katt were trending on Twitter, with fans calling them the Truth Squad. One tweet said, Boosie and Katt just tag team Steve Harvey like it's the culture versus the corporation. Another said, Steve Harvey talked too much about God to be threatening folks. And that's where things started to shift. Because for years, Steve's built his brand on being the voice of wisdom, the calm father figure. But now, the same people who used to praise him were questioning his motives. They were asking, is this man really humble, or is he just hiding his pride behind a suit? Boosie doubled down days later. He said, "Ain't no man gonna threaten me and get away with it. I don't care who you are, comedian, preacher, president. You say my name, I'm responding, and I stand on that." Then he said something that shook fans even more. These TV dudes think they untouchable because they on camera every day. But we the ones the people really listen to? That line right there, that's the heart of this whole beef. Because this isn't just about Steve versus Katt and Boosie. It's about authenticity versus image. It's about who really owns the mic, the one with the stage or the one with the truth. Katt Williams on his end stayed calm, but his words cut the deepest. He said, "I don't fight men who wear makeup on camera. I fight hypocrisy." Fans went wild. The comment sections were full of fire, fire, fire. And he ain't lying. Then he added, "Steve Harvey once told me I'd never last in Hollywood because I was too honest. Guess what? I'm still here. And I didn't have to sell my soul to stay." That line hit hard. Because deep down, everybody knows Katt Williams may not have Hollywood's love, but he's got the people's respect. By the end of the week, the story had gone everywhere. Blogs, gossip channels, even radio stations were covering it. Steve Harvey still hadn't said much, but sources close to him said he was disappointed and done responding to childish nonsense. Yet the silence said everything. Because if Steve really had that old school confidence he talks about, he'd face Katt and Boosie head on. But instead, he stayed quiet, and the internet took that as defeat. Memes started flying, Steve's face photoshopped with boxing gloves. Katt's picture with a caption saying, "Still undefeated." Boosie's quote over a mic saying, "The street's talking." It became a cultural moment where the underdogs checked the system in real time. Now let's be real, all three of these men are legends in their own right. Steve paved the way, Katt told the truth. Boosie spoke for the people, but when ego enters the chat, nobody wins clean. Hughley even jumped in on a podcast saying, "This is what happens when grown men stop communicating and start performing." But fans didn't care about peace because they were entertained. They wanted the drama. They wanted the truth, and Boosie and Katt gave them both. So what happens next? Maybe Steve Harvey claps back, maybe he doesn't. Maybe they meet behind the scenes and squash it. But one thing's certain, this moment showed us something powerful. The people are tired of fake wisdom. They want real voices, not rehearsed ones. They want truth, not talk show advice. They want energy, not ego. And that's exactly what Katt and Boosie delivered. By the end of it all, the internet had already crowned them the winners. Not because they yelled the loudest, but because they stood their ground. Boosie said it best. You can't threaten what's real. You can only expose yourself trying. And that's what happened here. Steve Harvey tried to flex authority, and it backfired. Because the new generation ain't bowing down to polished power anymore. They're standing with the ones who keep it raw. So yeah, Steve Harvey threatened Katt Williams and Boosie. But what he didn't realize is that you can't threaten truth. And when you come at two men who built their name on honesty, the whole world's gonna see who's real and who's rehearsed. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was Steve out of line for threatening them? Or did Katt and Boosie take it too far by going public? Whatever you think, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned. Because this is Buzz and Drama, where the truth don't hide and the legends never bite their tongue. See you on the next one.